Your memory is quietly breaking down right now, and no one has told you the real reason. Not your doctor, not the system, not even the health tips for seniors you've been following, despite everything you've tried to improve memory after 60. Right now, somewhere in America, a 74-year-old man is standing in a parking lot, holding his car keys, and realizing something is terribly wrong. His name is Robert, and what is happening to him is one of the most overlooked early signs of dementia and memory loss after 60.
He presses the unlock button once, then twice, then again. Nothing happens. No lights, no sound, no signal. Just silence. He pauses and looks up. Rows of cars stretch in front of him. Same colors, same shapes, same emptiness. Every single one looks like it could be his, and at the same time, none of them feel right. "I parked right here," he says quietly, but even he doesn't believe it anymore. His breathing changes, faster now, shallow. His chest tightens as a deeper realization begins to take hold. This isn't just confusion. This is something else. This has been building. Last week, he forgot the name of his neighbor, a man he has known for over a decade. He stood there smiling, waiting for the name to come back, hoping it would just appear. It never did. 2 nights ago, he opened his refrigerator and forgot why he was there. He just stood still, staring at the shelves, feeling the cold air against his face, waiting for his mind to catch up. It didn't. Yesterday morning he took his medication, and just minutes later, he couldn't remember if he had taken it at all. He stood there holding the bottle, trying to decide what was worse, taking it twice or not taking it at all. Now he's here, in a parking lot, staring at cars that should feel familiar, and for the first time, he feels something stronger than confusion. Fear. The kind of fear many families across America quietly associate with memory loss in seniors and the beginning stages of cognitive decline. Am I losing my mind? He doesn't say it out loud, but the thought is clear and impossible to ignore. A security guard begins walking toward him. "Sir, are you okay?" Robert nods too quickly and forces a smile. "Yeah, I'm fine." But he knows that's not true. Because this is no longer about a car. This is about control, about independence, about the quiet realization that something inside his brain function is changing, and he doesn't know how to stop it. That night, his daughter watches him carefully at dinner. He loses track of a story halfway through. He laughs at the wrong moment. He pauses too long, searching for words that used to come easily. Later, she pulls him aside. Her voice is calm, but the concern is clear. "Dad, maybe it's time to see a specialist." And just like that, the fear becomes real. Not just forgetting, but what comes next. Tests, labels, a future that millions of Americans facing memory loss after 60 are told to accept as normal aging. But here is the truth that most people never hear when they search for health tips for seniors or real solutions for health and healing. That moment in the parking lot did not begin there. It didn't start with the car or the keys or the confusion. It started hours earlier. In a moment he repeats every single day without thinking about it. Before we go any further, let me ask you to do one thing. If stories like this make you stop and think about aging, about independence, about what really matters, take a second to like this video and subscribe. This channel shares stories that don't sugarcoat getting older, and today's story might change how you see it entirely. Because what I'm about to tell you isn't theory. It's what's really happening to people like Robert, who did everything he was told was normal for memory loss after 60, and why none of it actually fixed the problem. Now, let's continue the story. Because that moment you just saw, the confusion, the hesitation, the fear, didn't start in that parking lot. It started hours earlier, when Robert thought he was resting. What I'm about to tell you will contradict what most doctors say. After more than 20 years working with older adults across the United States, I can tell you this clearly. What you've been told about memory loss after 60 is incomplete, and in many cases, It's simply wrong. Most people are told the same thing. It's normal aging. Just keep your mind active. Do puzzles. And while those things sound like responsible health tips for seniors, they don't explain what's really happening inside your brain. Because memory loss in seniors doesn't begin the way you think it does. It doesn't begin when you forget a name. It doesn't begin when you walk into a room and lose your train of thought. And it certainly doesn't begin in a parking lot. It begins the night before. Here's what almost no one explains. During the day, your brain collects information. Every conversation, every face, every small detail. It's all stored temporarily, like letters piling up in a post office. But your brain does not finalize those memories during the day. That only happens at night. Every night, your brain runs a silent operation, sorting, filing, and protecting your memories. It decides what matters. It organizes what you experienced. And it locks those moments into long-term storage. This is what scientists call memory consolidation, and it is one of the most critical processes in brain health for seniors and long-term cognitive health. But here's the problem. After the age of 60, that system begins to slow down. Not just a little. Significantly. Levels of key neurotransmitters drop. Deep REM sleep becomes shorter and more fragmented. The brain's natural cleaning system, the one responsible for clearing out waste and protecting neurons, becomes less efficient. And when that happens, something subtle but devastating begins. Your brain doesn't finish its work. Memories aren't fully stored. Connections aren't fully built. Information that should have been saved is quietly discarded. So when you wake up the next morning, it feels like something is missing. Because it is. This is why so many people searching for ways to improve memory after 60 or looking for foods for brain health feel like nothing is working. They are trying to fix a daytime problem, when the real issue is happening at night. And this is where the misunderstanding becomes dangerous. Because if you believe memory loss is just part of aging, you stop looking for solutions. You accept it. You adjust to it. You slowly give up control without realizing it. But the truth is this. Your brain is not failing. It is falling behind. And more importantly, it is missing something it desperately needs to complete its job. That is why what happened to Robert is not random. It is not sudden. And it is not inevitable. It is the result of a system that didn't finish its work the night before. And unless that system is supported, the pattern repeats. Again, and again, and again. You don't forget because you're aging. You forget because your brain didn't finish its job last night. So how do we fix this? We don't start with pills. We don't start with expensive supplements. We start with what you eat before sleep. Because if your brain is missing the raw materials it needs during the night, nothing you do during the day will fully correct the problem. This is where most people searching for foods for brain health and trying to improve memory after 60 go wrong. They focus on what they do when they're awake, but the real work happens when they're not. Tonight, we change that. We begin with the first layer of protection. Number 7 is soaked almonds. Your brain is being attacked every single night, not by something dramatic, but by something constant. Oxidative stress slowly damages the delicate structures that hold your memories together. Over time, this becomes one of the hidden drivers behind memory loss after 60 and long-term cognitive decline. Vitamin E is your defense system. It protects the fatty membranes of your brain, the very structures responsible for storing information. But most people use it wrong. They eat almonds straight out of the bag, dry and unprepared. When they do that, they absorb only a small portion of the nutrients. The outer skin blocks absorption, and most of what your brain needs never reaches it. Here's how to fix it. Soak your almonds in water for at least 8 hours. Let them soften, remove the skin, then chew them slowly before bed, not swallow. Chew. Because chewing activates enzymes that begin breaking down nutrients before they even reach your stomach. Without that step, your brain doesn't receive what it needs. Without protection, your memories degrade before they're stored. With it, your brain finally has a layer of defense. Now we move to number 6, kiwi. You think you're sleeping, but your brain isn't saving anything. That's the reality for millions of people dealing with sleep and memory problems they don't fully understand. Deep REM sleep is where your brain locks in information, where it decides what to keep and what to erase. But after 60, REM sleep becomes weaker, shorter, less effective. And when REM fails, memory fails. Kiwi changes that. It is one of the most effective natural ways to increase serotonin, the chemical your brain uses to enter deep restorative sleep. Studies show that improving sleep quality is one of the fastest ways to support brain health for seniors and improve memory after 60. But there's a detail most people miss. You must chew the seeds. Those tiny black seeds contain oils that help serotonin function properly. If you skip that step, you reduce the effects significantly. Because this is not just about eating food. It's about preparing your brain for the work it has to do. Now we move to number 5, pumpkin seeds. At this point, your brain is protected, your sleep is being activated, but something is still missing. Activation. Magnesium is one of the most critical minerals for brain function. It controls how neurons communicate, how connections are formed, and how memories are stabilized overnight. Without enough magnesium, your brain receives information, but cannot lock it in. That's why so many people experience memory loss in seniors and assume it's just aging, when in reality, it's a breakdown in the process. Pumpkin seeds are one of the richest natural sources of magnesium, but again, the way you consume them determines everything. Most people chew a few times and swallow. That is a mistake. If you swallow without chewing, you miss the entire effect. You need to chew until the seeds break down completely. That process releases the minerals and allows your body to absorb them properly. This is not a snack. This is a signal that your brain now has what it needs to begin. And now something important happens. Your brain is protected, your sleep is activated, your neural pathways are ready. But here's the truth most people never realize. Now your brain is ready, but it still hasn't repaired a single memory. That's where most people stop. They prepare the system, but they never complete the repair. And this is where everything begins to change. Because once your brain has the protection, the sleep, and the activation it needs, the next step is rebuilding what has already been lost. We start with number 4, walnuts. Your brain is nearly 60% fat. Every memory you form, every connection you make, depends on the quality of those fats. Over time, as you age, those structures begin to break down, slowly, quietly, without any warning. It's like oil in an engine that hasn't been changed in years. At first, nothing seems wrong. Then performance drops. Then small failures begin. And eventually, the entire system struggles to function. That's exactly what happens inside the aging brain. Walnuts provide the type of healthy fats your brain needs to restore those pathways. They don't just support brain function, they help maintain the integrity of the system itself. But there is a mistake almost everyone makes. They remove the thin, slightly bitter skin. They think it improves the taste. But that layer contains the majority of the antioxidants that protect those fats from damage. When you remove it, you remove the very thing your brain needs most. You need to eat the whole walnut. Slowly. Let the bitterness stay, because that bitterness is part of the process. And this is where people begin to notice something. Not a miracle, a shift. Let me show you what that looks like. Martha was 69, living alone in California. Organized, independent. The kind of person who never missed a bill, never forgot an appointment. Until she did. At first it was small things. A missed call, a forgotten errand. Then it started to build. She began writing notes. On her kitchen counter, on her refrigerator, on the bathroom mirror. Call doctor. Take medication. Don't forget keys. Everywhere she looked. Reminders. Not to stay organized, to stay functional. That's what memory loss in seniors often becomes. Not confusion, but compensation. A quiet system of coping that slowly replaces confidence. When she came into my office, she didn't say she was losing her memory. She said, "I'm losing control." We started this exact process. The same foods for brain health you're hearing now. The same simple changes. The same focus on what happens before sleep. Nothing extreme, nothing complicated. 2 weeks later, something happened. One morning, she didn't need the note. She walked into the kitchen and remembered. Not because she tried harder, but because her brain finally did its job. That's the difference. Now we move to number 3. Tart cherries. Your brain has been collecting waste for years, silently. Every day your brain produces byproducts. Proteins, toxins, microscopic debris that build up over time. Normally, your brain clears this during sleep, but as sleep quality declines, so does that cleaning process. And when that waste isn't removed, it interferes with everything. Memory, focus, mental clarity. This is one of the hidden reasons behind cognitive decline prevention becoming more difficult with age. It's not just about forming new memories, it's about clearing space for them. Tart cherries support that process. They increase natural melatonin levels, which improves the quality of deep sleep, the phase where your brain activates its internal cleaning system. Not just helping you sleep, helping your brain reset. Most people underestimate how critical that is, because without that reset, your brain carries yesterday's damage into today. And eventually, it shows. Now we move to number 2. Dark chocolate. This is where most people start to feel hope again. Because for the first time, we are not just protecting or cleaning the brain. We are helping it grow. High-quality dark chocolate contains compounds that stimulate the production of BDNF, brain-derived neurotrophic factor. This is the chemical responsible for creating new neural connections, new pathways, new memories. In other words, this is where improvement begins. This is where people searching for how to improve memory after 70 or looking for real senior health advice begin to notice something different. They don't just feel stable. They feel sharper, more responsive, more like themselves again. But again, there's a detail that matters. It must be high-percentage dark chocolate, and it must be consumed alone. Because if you combine it with dairy, you block the very compounds your brain needs. At this point, your brain is no longer just surviving, it is beginning to rebuild. But something is still missing, and this is where most people stop. This is the step they avoid. This is the step they laugh at, ignore, or replace with something easier. And that is exactly why they never fully recover. Most people refuse this step, and that's exactly why they never recover. We're talking about raw garlic. I can already hear the reaction. The smell, the taste, the burn. It's not pleasant, it's not convenient, and it certainly doesn't fit the image of the polished, healthy solutions most people expect when they search for foods for brain health or ways to improve memory after 60. But that discomfort is exactly the point. Because what raw garlic does inside your body is something no supplement, no pill, and no processed brain food can replicate. When you crush a clove of raw garlic, something powerful happens. 2 separate compounds combine and create a lectin, a highly active molecule that moves quickly through your bloodstream and crosses into the brain. Once there, it triggers a system most people have never heard of, but rely on every single day. NRF2. This is your brain's internal defense switch. When NRF2 is activated, your brain begins producing its own antioxidants, not synthetic ones, not borrowed ones. Its own, and the most powerful of these is glutathione. This is the compound responsible for repairing oxidative damage, protecting neurons, and restoring balance inside the aging brain. It plays a critical role in dementia prevention, cognitive health, and maintaining a healthy brain over time. But here's the problem. You don't get a listen from cooked garlic. You don't get it from garlic powder. And you don't get it from most supplements. The reaction only happens when garlic is crushed and then chewed. If you skip that step, you skip the effect. That's why so many people say they've tried everything to stop memory loss or improve memory after 60, but never see real change. They've never activated the system. Here's how you do it correctly. Take 1 clove of raw garlic, crush it, let it sit for about 10 minutes. That waiting period allows the chemical reaction to fully develop. Then chew it, slowly, completely, and this is where it becomes real. The moment you bite down, the taste hits immediately. Sharp, intense, almost overwhelming. Then comes the burn. It spreads through your mouth, down your throat, into your chest. Most people want to stop right there. That's the moment they quit. But that burn is not a warning. That burn is your biology responding. That burn is your body activating something it hasn't fully used in years. And if you stay with it, if you push past that discomfort, something remarkable happens. Your brain responds, blood flow increases, cellular repair mechanisms begin to activate. Signals that have been weak start to strengthen. This is not subtle. This is not theoretical. This is the moment your brain fights back. And this is where the contrast becomes clear. The people who skip this step continue doing everything else. They eat better. They sleep better. They follow health tips for seniors and try every new piece of senior health advice they can find. But they never cross this threshold. And because of that, their progress slows, then stops. Meanwhile, the ones who commit to this step, even when it's uncomfortable, begin to notice something different. Not overnight, but steadily. Clearer thinking, faster recall, a sense that their mind is responding again. This is not magic. This is the moment your brain fights back. And this is where everything changes. Because now, for the first time, you're not guessing anymore. You understand what's happening. You understand why memory loss after 60 begins, and more importantly, you understand how to stop memory loss before it takes control. So let's go back to Robert. 30 days later, he's in the same parking lot, same store, same time of day. But this time, something is different. He presses the unlock button once, and his car responds immediately. No hesitation, no confusion. He walks straight to it. No scanning, no second guessing, just certainty. That night, he drives home in the dark. No anxiety, no fear of missing a turn, no second guessing every street sign. His mind is clear, responsive, present. At dinner, his daughter notices it before he says anything. He tells a story, finishes it, laughs at the right moment, responds without pausing to search for words. And for the first time in months, she doesn't interrupt him with concern. She just listens. That's when you realize something important. He didn't become younger. He just started supporting his brain differently. And that is the shift most people never make. They try to fight aging instead of supporting function. They look for shortcuts instead of understanding the system. But once you understand it, the solution becomes simple. Not easy, but simple. If you want real health and healing, if you truly want to improve memory after 60 and protect your brain long term, you need to follow a structure your brain recognizes. Here's what that looks like. The first phase is preparation. 90 minutes before bed, you eat your kiwi, your walnuts, and your pumpkin seeds. These are not random choices. These are targeted brain-boosting foods designed to support sleep and memory, protect neural pathways, and strengthen brain health for seniors. Then comes the second phase. Activation. 30 minutes before sleep, you complete the process. Raw garlic, dark chocolate, soaked almonds, tart cherries. Each one plays a role. Each one supports a different part of the system. Together, they create the conditions your brain needs to function properly. And this is where commitment matters. Not once, not occasionally. 30 nights. No exceptions. Because what you are doing is not temporary. You are retraining your brain. You are rebuilding a process that has been slowly breaking down over time. And once that process begins working again, everything changes. Your recall improves. Your mental clarity sharpens. Your confidence returns. This is not about chasing perfection. This is about restoring function. This is about taking control of something most people believe they've already lost. You were never meant to lose your memory. You were just never taught how to protect it, and now you are. So the question is simple. Do you continue doing what you've always done and accept the outcome? Or do you change the system, starting tonight? Because aging is inevitable, but forgetting is something you can fight, starting tonight. If this story resonated with you, please like this video, subscribe, and share it with someone close to you. a friend, a parent, a loved one, so they can protect their mind and avoid the silent dangers that threaten memory in later years. Leave a comment below. What are you doing today to protect your memory tomorrow? I'd love to read your thoughts. Because next time, I'll be sharing something most people never talk about. Seniors, beware. 9 popular medications that can trigger rapid dementia. Thank you for watching. And remember, your best years aren't behind you.